Okay, this is going to be a big update. It's going to be a long one. I'm going to try to piece together everything that's happened, and there's a long chronology, and then analysis. I have to do analysis and you know, basically, contingency plans or how to actually deal with the situation when it comes up again, um, and sort of analyze what I've done and what I did wrong or what I did right and such like that. So, um, the story begins, and it was back on day 6, cycle number 4 was the first cycle after I overslept like 5.5 hours or 4.5 hours. 4.5 hours. Okay, and so I went from that day 6, cycle 4, all the way out to day 8, cycle 1. So that was at 1.5 days. Okay, that means I went a full 24 hours of cycles, and without a hitch, feeling great. Just like you saw on the previous update, man, I was feeling really great during that time, and I actually worked successfully worked over 24 hours straight at my work, which was the first time I've ever done that and felt so good afterwards. Because I think I've done it maybe once before, maybe, and you just feel because monophasically you just feel like a complete zombie. And I don't know if I actually made 24 hours. I mean, I don't know if I actually did that, but I might have once. But anyway, this is fantastic. This is just fantastic that I can accomplish something like that. So this is definitely a sleep system that works. Okay, but the problem is that eventually what happened was after a day and a half of success, which is unprecedented. Um, During the last cycle, which I made it out to day 8, cycle number 1. Okay. So the cycle before that, which was the last cycle of day 7, so cycle number 6, towards the end of that cycle, while working, there was about an hour and a half left in the cycle. Okay. And I could start to feel that sleep, the heavy sleep. Okay. Which I went a day and a half without feeling that. So it was, but I recognized it. Obviously, I knew it was the beast. Okay, it's starting to approach. So seeing that I had an hour and a half to work left, that I was scheduled, another hour of scheduled work, um, I decided what I would do is just eat a couple of spoonfuls of ice cream. Okay, and go back to work for another hour and a half, and an hour of work, and then 30 minutes of cool down time before the cycle ended. And then by that time, I would be tired and be able to go to sleep. Okay, well that's exactly what happened. I mean, I finished out the work. I mean, it happened just like that. And the thing was though, right at the um, right at that time, uh, right before the cycle ended, I definitely was tired. The beast was hitting me hard. If I just sat there, which I kind of did, I would start to nod off. So I was sort of just being lazy and just sat there, kind of fighting off the nods, so just so I can get to the end of the sleep cycle, so I can go to sleep. So that's exactly the state I was in when I fell asleep. Okay. Then I woke up day 8, cycle number 1. Okay, and the feeling at that point was incredible. Okay, because I've previously experienced maybe 10 minutes of the beast just attacking me, wanting trying to get me to go back to sleep. Okay, and then all I would do is fight it. And that's exactly what I did. When I woke up, I just went through standard procedures, modes to fight this thing because it was heavy. I mean, it was heavier than I've ever experienced it before. So to this degree, it was relentless and so strong. And so I got up, drank water. Okay, then went to the bathroom, splashed water on my face. Okay, sat back down, felt it. Gosh, this thing is still on me. I can't even believe this. Okay, so and then I thought, all right, I'm gonna get up. I'll go outside. Okay, so that's what I did. I got up and went outside. Breathed air, stretched. Did some Tai Chi. Okay, and uh, you know, felt like I had beaten it. Like I was like, okay, here we go. I feel pretty good. Okay, so I came back in, sat down. Okay, still the sucker creeped up on me again, and I'm like, what's going on? What is happening? I just woke up. Why am I getting hit like this after just waking up like this? This has never happened before. Okay, so I got up again. Went into another room and sat down in a different place on a couch. And okay, sucker came after me. All right, and I knew it would. And I just said, my gosh, I just can't even deal with this. I mean, this is just. I have to fight like this for 4 hours. And so I fought it for, I guess, about an hour. And that's when I decided, and this is where things start to fall apart, I guess. But that's when I decided that I would just take an emergency escape hatch. I would just, which is no problem. You can do this. If you have a really tough time, take a minute nap in the middle of your cycle, okay? And it's okay. It doesn't disturb anything. Well, it's the first time I would ever have needed to do it, and so that's what I decided to do. So it basically at about an hour into the cycle, okay, I went to sleep. That was at 2 a.m. on day 8. Okay, and the idea was to sleep for 20 minutes, get back up, and see how we defeated the monster. And I think that was the right decision. Okay, with the type of with what I was dealing with, I think that was the right decision, because otherwise, the only solution, as far as I could tell, okay, was to just continuously be on my feet, moving around constantly, and I would have to do it for the entire 4 hours. Or 3, okay, or 3.5, whatever. All right, 3.5. So, I'm sitting here whining about it. In the Navy SEALs, they did that for 5 days straight. So, who am I? And then 4 of those days are after 24 hours of sleep deprivation. So they're out there 4 days straight, and they're not just walking around. They're like hard labor. And so, I'm sitting here whining about it. It's like, see. And all I did was compromise with my short-term goal of finishing out the cycle. Okay? Alright? I regardless of Navy SEALs, I actually think I made the right decision to take the that supplemental sleep there, that extra sleep cycle. So that's what I did. All right. Then I remember waking up. Okay, the alarms are going off. All 3 of them were going off. And I woke up, and I do not know what time it was. All I know is that I didn't want to feel that beast assaulting me anymore. That was my major thing. I was like, I don't want to fight this thing anymore. I don't want to have to do it. I don't want to feel it. I don't want to deal with it. I want to be, back to where I was for the last day and a half, where everything was like cool. And that was it. I was like a monster. I was like a beast myself, just trying to turn off all the alarms so I can go to sleep. And that was my motivation. That's exactly what my mindset was. And so what ended up happening then, okay, was that ultimately, because it doesn't count as waking up there, that was definitely not waking up. That was just turning off alarms and going back to sleep, and doing so with a fervor. So what ended up happening is I ended up sleeping 5.5 hours. Okay, now I've done that once before. Okay, but that was when there was an alarm failure. There was some sort of failure with the alarm. That if I recall correctly, the hard drive actually crashed, and so the alarm didn't even go off. And so that's all right. So that's okay. So now I'm waking up. Okay. Okay. One second. I'm looking for the card. It's upside down right here in my hand. Okay. Um, and okay, so I'm gonna skip cycle 3. So this is then gonna be a supplemental log for cycles 2 and 3 on day 8. Okay, and because I'm skipping cycle 3 because there's no need. I mean, I just slept 5.5 hours. I'm not going to go back to that cycle, but I'll pick up the schedule again, cycle 4, which is at 12:30 p.m. Okay, on obviously today, day 8. Okay, seeing that walking around for 3 hours didn't seem like a viable plan. Because otherwise, that's the only other choice that I had. As best I can tell, the thing was not going to let loose of me, and I would have to fight it for 3 hours walking around, whatever that means. I mean, at that level of intensity, which I'd never experienced before, that's the only other choice. So I'm going with the fact that I made the right decision to take supplemental sleep in that situation. Okay? Right. So at that point, though, um, I woke up again. I was in like a really bad psychological state. Like I had been beaten over the head or tortured or something, and I can't take it anymore, you know? And I'm like, what? How did I jump from that, to that all of a sudden? I mean, come on. I mean, give me, I would, at least want to be able to get up and fight the thing off and then, see how I feel, get up, because, it's deceiving when you first wake up. You think, it's not the same. You think, you feel really bad or whatever, like tired or whatever. It might last like 30 seconds or something, and all of a sudden you just feel fine. It was just like the fatigue that you had when you first woke up. But for me, no, I didn't even want to get up. I was just like, no, I want to turn off all the alarms. I'm going back to sleep. I don't want to deal with it. But like, deal with what? You didn't even wake up. It's like, what are you talking about? So that's a really bad psychological state right there. So that has to be avoided. My mind, I have to set my mind like, hey, this is a 20-minute nap. A 30-minute nap, okay? And you're going to wake up after that and just go back to, normal schedules, okay? You just need to take a little bit of a rest to take the edge off this thing, and then come back and take care of it. That's the mindset that I have to have, and I need to be aware that it's what needs to be done with the supplemental sleep, okay? So that's the danger, which had no idea that was going to happen. Obviously, I've never experienced anything like this up to this point. This is the greatest success, obviously, in the entire endeavor here, and coincidentally, the greatest failure. The taller they are, the harder they fall. I guess that's what we're looking at there. Okay. So, running out of time on the 15 minutes. I'm just going to go ahead and cut this off right here. And if I need to post another video that would, in addition to this, I will.